My name is Katie, and I've decided to have a voluntary mastectomy. This is my family tree that the geneticist had done at UNC. It shows everybody in my mother's side that has had breast cancer. My great-grandma had breast cancer and passed away from it. My grandmother had breast cancer and passed away from it. My grandmother's sister also had breast cancer, however, she's still alive. And then my mother had breast cancer and passed away from it in 2010 at the age of 53.
Okay, so your great-grandmother got breast cancer and your maternal grandmother also had breast cancer. Tell me about that.
She was diagnosed when I was younger, which was really hard because her and I were really close. When my mom was working, my grandma was the one that was always with me. And after a while, she had moved in with us, so she was basically my best friend. When she had breast cancer, she was strong and she fought. And then when I was 15, she ultimately passed away from breast cancer that had also moved into her ovaries. My mother passed away in 2010, recently. My son was 3 months old, and she really was my best friend. She was the most amazing woman ever. And she was good. She fought for a really long time. She was diagnosed when I was a sophomore in high school. And she had it really bad. It had spread into her lymph nodes, and the tumor was pretty big. They had done a lumpectomy, mastectomy, chemo, radiation. She went through everything, and she was so strong the whole time. And she was on medicine that helped keep the cancer at bay essentially for 7 years. But once you're considered a survivor, you take yourself off the medicine. And when she took herself off the medicine, because her cancer was such an aggressive form, it basically spread everywhere in her body. And while she was with us in North Carolina for Christmas, she noticed it in her skull, in the back of her head. That was kind of the big indicator that she wasn't going to be able to really fight it anymore. Though she did radiation again, and she tried to fight as much as she could, it basically took hold of her everywhere.
Did you take care of her through it all?
Yes. Since I was a sophomore in high school, I would leave school halfway through the day, and I would take her to all of her appointments, and I would sit with her. I sat for hours with her for chemo, and it was her and I. So I took care of her, which I loved doing because she was my best friend. So I was with her all the time. Up until the last second, I was right next to her. Up until actually after she passed away, I didn't leave her side. I never wanted to leave her side for anything. It was terrifying because your parents are supposed to be the strong ones, and they're supposed to be invincible in your eyes. And when I saw her sick and sad and nervous, it made me feel sick and sad and nervous. And everything she went through, though I wasn't in the physical pain that she was in, I feel like I was emotionally in pain watching her go through that. And it's nerve-wracking not knowing if you get the next day with your mom or your best friend or your whoever, because she was everything to me, and it was scary not knowing. When I saw the geneticist at UNC, he drew up the whole family tree for me. And essentially, being that my family history is so prevalent with breast cancer, there's such a huge amount, obviously, of women that have had it. He basically put me at 50%. Though my mother wasn't positive for the gene that everybody knows about, he still says something is going on in my family. It's hereditary, without a doubt. However, they don't have enough information or resources yet to check that whole panel of genetics. My choice was I could wait until I got breast cancer, and then they could run a whole panel on me, for me, and that would be able to define whatever genetic mutation is in my system. I don't really want to wait to get it.
And how old are you?
27.
So at 27, you've chosen to
take them off, make them go away, because they're not worth it. Boobs aren't worth it to me for my life. It's not important.
And you have 2 children and a husband.
Yes.
What does your husband think about this?
He is so amazing and so much behind me that I'm actually shocked, to be honest. I didn't know that he would be so supportive. And, you know, the things that he said, he controls his emotions. He doesn't show emotions. But even when we were at the geneticist at UNC, he jokes and says that I am not allowed to die before him because he will be lonely. So he's all for it. If it's going to save my life, he would let me do it 10 times over, and he's ready. When I saw the geneticist at UNC and told him about my decision to possibly have the prophylactic mastectomy, he said it was definitely a good idea and sent my doctor here at Naval Hospital his recommendation that I be seen at UNC Chapel Hill in their high-risk breast clinic to undergo the surgery. I will be meeting with a doctor tomorrow. He's actually, I believe, the board head for that on surgical oncology area. I actually meet him right after I have a mammogram or an ultrasound. They haven't decided, so I'll have that first, and then we'll meet with the surgeon and the nurse practitioner, and I guess decide what surgery is, what type of prophylactic mastectomy is right for me, and we'll go from there.